I'll be followed by Chief Oates, and we'll be prepared to take questions.
Again, I thank all our colleagues in law enforcement for their support today. I'll make a note that Senator Udall has joined us, and we're very appreciative of all the support from all the community leaders who are standing behind me. With that, I will take a modest number of questions.
Any idea on the motive of this? Have you talked to the suspect?
We are not speculating on motive.
Chief, can you walk us through the timeline of this?
When it inside the theater?
Okay, let's do one at a time.
How did he get inside the theater?
That is under investigation. I will tell you that his car was parked right outside the back door.
Can you walk us through the timeline of this, when it began, kind of point by point, and how much time elapsed?
Again, we were on scene within a minute or a minute and a half, and we immediately arrested the suspect in the back of the theater. From our first call to his apprehension was about a minute to a minute and a half.
Chief, you have people inside the theater habitually, off-duty police officers working the theater. Were they on scene?
We often have off-duty police officers working at this theater. They were not working there that night, but as I said, the response was very rapid.
Have you heard a suggestion that he make an attempt to get away?
He surrendered without any significant incident to our officers.
Why did you choose Batman?
I'm sorry?
Why did you choose Batman?
Well, I'm not going to get into why he did what he did. We simply are, that's not something we're prepared to discuss. Yes, sir.
Just a couple of questions. Have you heard one suggestion that he was dressed not as Batman?
I'm sorry?
Have you heard a suggestion that he was dressed as the Joker?
No, he was dressed as I described.
Did he say anything to you?
That's not something we would discuss in this setting.
Can you tell me what primary weapon he used to fire at people? Of the 4 weapons you described, one of them being in the car.
There's pretty significant evidence that he used the AR-15 within the theater, the shotgun within the theater, and a .40 caliber Glock. In the end, he was in possession of 2 .40 caliber Glocks. So which one he used in the theater or both, that's something we're working on.
How many magazines,
we're simply not prepared to tell you how many magazines. There is an awful lot of forensic and ballistic evidence. We will be in the theater for quite some time working that crime scene through. So we're not in a position to share that with you.
Chief, Ray Kelly in New York they changed some of their plans for this evening. He said on camera that the suspect said he was a Joker and had red hair, but he is cooperating with you. Can you comment on that?
No, I can't. I will tell you that I received a phone call from the NYPD today. I used to work for that agency, and I discussed the matter with them, but beyond that, I have nothing to say about that.
Do you have the right to have those weapons legally?
I know we're working up the investigation of those weapons, but I don't know what their legal status is. We have the assistance of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms in that workup, and we'll see where that goes. But that's something that I'm not prepared to talk about right now.
Did anybody else?
We are not sure what we're dealing with in the home. They appear to be incendiary devices. There's some chemical elements there, and there are also some incendiary elements. They're linked together with all kinds of wires. As a layman, it's not something I've never seen before. We have a lot of very smart bomb techs up there trying to figure out what we're going to do.
Why did he tell you that there were explosives in his apartment?
We don't know why he told us that.
Some of the victims' children. He's cooperating, though, somewhat. Sounds like he's talking to you.
I'm not going to discuss what he's told us.
Aside from that speeding ticket, has your department ever been made aware of this individual at any point?
That's the extent of our contact with him. Anyone else?
Yes. What did you start shooting with? Did you start shooting with an AR-15?
If I knew that, I wouldn't tell it to you right now. Yes. I'm sorry?
Are there any foreign...
We're not in a position to talk about the identity of victims. Let me talk a little bit about our handling of the victims. We obviously have a lot of work to do. We've mobilized at least 50 victim advocates to deal directly with the victims and their families. We set up a staging area for families at Gateway High School, which is right down the street. And that continues to be the staging area for victims. And obviously, we ask that you give them some space and privacy. There are folks who are trying to locate loved ones. This is a very, very tough day for a whole lot of people. They've been through an awful lot, and we'd appreciate if you gave us some space. But we're not in a position to talk about any of the victims until all the victims are identified and all the family members are spoken to by us. So
is there an understanding?
I'm not prepared to release his booking photo today, and I don't know when we'll do that. Yes, sir.
Is it legal to carry assault rifle in this state?
I don't know the status of the legality of his possession of those weapons, and I'll leave it at that.
Is there any evidence
All right.
San Diego?
One more question. Yes, sir.
Chief, we had a witness tell us that he saw a suspicious person in the front aisle that was lingering near the exit where the shooter came in. And I'm wondering if you've looked into that, because you said you believe he acted alone. So is that something you don't think played a part in allowing him to get in?
We have information as to what occurred in the theater based on the roughly 200 interviews that we have made, and we have ballistic evidence inside that suggests how the shooting went down, but we have so much investigation to do, and that's the kind of evidence for a prosecution, not for a discussion at this time.
Are there cameras in those?
Evaluation of the shooter.
That door, you couldn't access that door from the outside. It has to be open from the inside.
We're not prepared to discuss any theories about how he got in there with the weapons, but we will tell you that his car was parked right outside the back door.
Are there cameras in those theaters?
How long did the entire thing lasted? You got 911 call starting at 12:39.
We know there are a lot of rounds fired very rapidly. We know we were there within about 1.5 to 2 minutes from when we were called. Now, in an event like that, you know, we can surmise is how much time it takes for someone in that traumatic event to call 911 and get through and dispatch to us. That will all be looked into. I think we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, folks. We will offer an update to you at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. and that update will be at Aurora City Hall. Okay? Thank you very much.
Why did you choose that movie?
Ms. Chambers, can we ask you a question?
So that was a news conference from Aurora, Colorado, where early this morning, during the screening of the brand new Batman movie, the new numbers that we have now, according to Aurora Police, is that 71 people were shot, 12 people confirmed dead right now. And we've been listening mostly to Dan Oates, who was the chief of police in Aurora, spent 21 years at the New York Police Department. He couldn't give us much new information, quite frankly, except confirming the weapons that the suspect had on him at the time of this brutal and heinous attack. We also heard from the Colorado governor, John Hickenlooper, who said, "Our hearts are broken." The act that happened early this morning was apparently the act of what he described as a deranged mind. We're going to go to Pete Williams right now. He's been on this case since very early this morning. Pete, what more can you tell us right now?
Well, there are, I guess, 3 places where this investigation is going on. Still at the theater, and as the chief made clear, that's going to take a long time to figure out as best they can how the events unfolded inside there, how the shooter got in, what he did, in what sequence. So that's going to be very actively worked. Then there's the separate place of his apartment where there's apparently this bizarre series of contraptions in there that they have to figure out whether they're real or not and how to proceed there. That's going to take an awfully long time. In the Colorado area, they're also tracing when and how these 4 weapons were purchased. Now, there's nothing in Colorado law that would prohibit anyone from buying any one of these weapons. And as you heard the chief say, there's no indication that he had any criminal record, so he wouldn't be disqualified from buying these weapons. He's an American citizen, nothing to prevent him from buying these, but they'll want to know when and where, because that may help indicate how long he'd been planning this. Obviously very thoroughly planned because of how well equipped he was when he got to the theater and all the stuff he'd done to his apartment. And then finally, Harry, the other part of this investigation will be to completely probe his past. He grew up in San Diego, went to schools there, then came to Colorado to enroll and study neuroscience. What happened there? Why did he drop out? Did he drop out because he was having other problems? You know, and I guess the thing that comes through the news conference quite clearly is they still don't have a good idea of why this happened. It's such a mystery.
It's very interesting, Pete. The Denver Post has been interviewing a lot of the people in the neighborhood where he lived. One of the quotes that came from someone in his neighborhood who had seen him some frequent times said no one knew him, no one. This guy who was there in plain sight was apparently unknowable, and the search really will go on now to find out who in fact this James Holmes was. This is an incredible puzzle, lots of pieces that need to be put together here, and of course all of the resources of NBC News are on the scene right now.